I, 20F, walked in on my BF, 19M, with his head in his girl best friend's lap, 20F. To be fair, I knew she was going to come over to my apartment and my BF was also there at the time. I was out to run some errands. It's not like he was trying to hide her. When I got home, she was sitting on the sofa watching Netflix. My BF's head was on her lap and he was lying down on the sofa on his phone and she was just playing with his hair, like twirling it. They didn't react when I got home. Just looked up and said hi. Which makes me think they think this is a normal thing to do. Part of me is relieved because if they reacted and they suddenly got up, it would mean they knew it was wrong. But it's just at the back of my mind and kind of a ticking me off. Is this normal? Has this happened with anyone here? Ask your boyfriend if he would be okay with you doing that with another guy. Best friend. Depending on his reaction, you'll see if he thinks this is normal for everyone or just for him and his best friend. Regardless of that, I'd communicate that there needs to be physical and emotional boundaries. I kind of agree with your assessment that their lack of reaction meant they didn't think they were doing anything wrong. If they were fooling around, it's unlikely they would be this brazen in front of you. Touch doesn't have to be sexual. However, I completely understand you being uncomfortable with it. You should tell your boyfriend about your feelings and ask him to set some boundaries. This is the perfect time to express boundaries. I'll go against the grain and say what they're doing isn't wrong. It's obvious they have an intimate, platonic relationship, just based on their reactions on seeing you. However, they're not connecting the dots here. So you need to express your thoughts now rather than later. You're uncomfortable with this and it typically isn't normal to be that intimate with someone else while you're in a romantic relationship. Your discomfort is reasonable, and you should speak with your boyfriend about his actions. Time to have a serious talk with your boyfriend. Say something to the effect of, "Hey, I love that you have a close relationship with her name here, but I feel uncomfortable that you're physically intimate with her, as I feel those sort of interactions should be exclusive between us." If boyfriend is sane, he should see where you're coming from. Do not back down. Do not compromise on this. If he pushes back on this, it's clear he doesn't respect your reasonable boundaries. Hopefully, he does. Normal? Not for people that aren't in a relationship. No. Can you imagine your mom's reaction if she came home and your dad had his head on his friend's lap? Disturbing image for sure. But I can't imagine your mom would be cool with that at all. Lol. It's always the girl best friend. That's not normal at all. Sounds like some serious PDA on their part. Sounds like you need to have a frank discussion with your BF about boundaries. Has his lady bestie given you weird vibes before? I wouldn't personally be comfortable with that. Lay in your buddy's lap and see how he reacts. This is not okay at all. Laying in her lap while she twirls his hair? Come on. I'd have an ex. I hate all the people here judging whether this is normal or not. That having said, it's totally okay for you to not want this kind of intimacy with another girl. You have to talk to him and understand his point of view. Then you can make a decision. I personally wouldn't want it too. Reading the title, I had the story going very differently in my head. Is it normal? Not really. But platonic friendships can have different levels of comfort and affection. I wouldn't worry about them bumping uglies based on their reaction. But since it obviously was weird, my suggestion is to sit down with both of them and let them know that you're comfortable with that level of affection while you and he are in a relationship. Make it clear that you're okay with their friendship. If you are, but the way they're acting crossed a boundary. To be clear, talk to both of them. Remember, she's his best friend. And if you talk to him about this singularly, he'll talk to her and there will be a wedge driven. They're obviously close. And if he views it as an ultimatum, chances are you'll lose. My ex-girlfriend did something like this to me. I told great she can go stay with him and sponge his money. She was all like it's just innocent, then with some snooping find out they were more involved. At one point then she bothered to tell me. Told her I was working late one night and caught them again. She was gone the next day. Normal? Girl, how is that normal? Come on now. Depends on your BF. I know I could be doing things like that with my best friends with no agenda whatsoever. I am a person that does express affection through touching. And I really often touch my guy friends' hair. I really like doing it. OFC, if they are uncomfortable with it, I won't do it. I do it with close friends. But I did it during my last relationship and there was no issue. The way I see it, they're friends. There is no sexual attraction or innuendo. I do it to gay guys. Straight guys. Same would go for girls with short hair. Long hair might be a bit more complicated because of knots. But I did it in high school with a girl best friend that had silky smooth hair no knot could even stay in. I don't do it to girls at the moment because my only girl close friend I get to see, COVID, moving away etc., has issues with touching her hair. So basically, I don't see it as a big deal. And the fact that they don't either means they are not doing it in a sexual or romantic way. But, if for whatever reason, my friend or their partner expressed being uncomfortable with it, I'd stop. It's my way of showing affection. I don't want it to be a burden. It's supposed to show that I care. Not that I think I have the right to touch their body. Edit. Knots. Not nods. I don't cuddle with my best friends. Doesn't matter if it's normal or not. If it makes you uncomfortable, talk to him about it. My boyfriend and his best friend, she's my best friend too, used to do that all the time. Since before we started dating. I was fine with it before, but it became one of my boundaries when we got together. It was just a very intimate thing and it made me uncomfortable to see them like that. They stopped after I communicated this to them. You're allowed to have your own boundaries. Especially with stuff like this. And if they respect you enough, they'll adhere to them. Is this a sexual thing? Yes and no. Bear with me. I've had girl less than space friends straight up place their head in my lap and ask me to play with their hair while watching TV with them and their boyfriend. So it's nothing weird like that. But if I give myself the Pulp Fiction test, would you rub my feet? Quote, then no. I would not let a guy friend place his head in my lap and have me play with his hair. Unfortunately, this is about as helpful as I can be. Whether or not this crosses a line is going to be up to you op. But if anything, I can say that it's not as clear a violation that you should immediately break it off with the guy. If this is a deal breaker for you, let him know and tell him that if he wants to have that kind of intimacy with other women, then the two of you need to part ways. If he says he didn't know you felt that way and that he won't do it if it's that important to you, you can probably trust him to be telling the truth. Best of luck to you. Smiley face. I wouldn't be okay with this, and it has nothing to do with a lack of trust or feeling threatened that something more might be happening between them. I'm just not comfortable with my partner sharing that level of physical intimacy with another person. No, that's not normal. Do the same thing with your best boyfriend and see how he would react. LMAO. This is very borderline normal for me. I pet my friends' heads all the time. Though I don't think I'd ever have a friend's head in my lap unless they were really sick or really depressed or some extenuating circumstance. But it all comes down to what makes you comfortable. If you are uncomfortable with that level of affection between them, tell them. If they don't respect that boundary, then I would definitely call it a red flag.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.